Hey guys, so Zelda fans. So what is it? Last year we caught the kind of like that huge leak where we pretty much got you know models and not stages but like areas for like the beta Zelda we've seen in screenshots, and all this stuff was like hiding on a freaking F0 cartridge, test cartridge or whatever it was. Um, and just being able to go through those world that world, that beta world, and see beta items, get to use those beta items. um it it made the impossible seem possible. And of course, with that stuff, people have been trying to kind of complete it because it was very incomplete. People want to make it into a full experience, not just select. You go there, select another place. They want it to be like a streamlined main, like a game. So apparently there's someone they are choosing to remain anonymous, and for a very good reason. You know how Nintendo is, but what you're about to see, especially if you're like me and you love Zelda, you've wanted to play that beta version since you've seen it. I wrote to Nintendo ages ago. I emailed and I said, would there, because they have all this data still. It's like, would it be possible to just make a game out of that? And it's like, oh well, I got to reply back, and they're like, oh well, we like to leave it up to the imagination of the player, and blah blah blah. Now I know a lot of the stuff was reused. Some ideas that they didn't have in there were used in Majora's Mask and Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, stuff like that. But to see it in Ocarina of Time, or as it was Zelda 64, would but what you're about to see is pretty cool. Like I said, we they had a lot to work with, given the fact that there was a lot of maps that were leaked, a lot of game assets that were leaked, um, hinting somewhat at a story, but it's so simple and yet so good. So, just for comparison, I brought up some from Zelda Secret Ocarina. So, like, so first off, um, the whole Sakura tree right there, gorgeous. Um, Zelda 64, it's so good. Um, I think that's part of the castle, the dungeon, like the first leak that we had. Um, you see it in the videos, and you're like, oh yeah, it's probably the first. It's like a first dungeon or the castle, and you're going up this staircase, and um, basically when you get dropped into there, like the floor is lava essentially, where the floor is actually harming you, and that's just basically where the model is loaded, and it's like loaded on top of lava or something. Um, but we saw that was like a Lake Hylia kind of thing where um you go down, there's a house, and then there's a lake and it has the dock. And this is all from what we've seen. Now this stuff I think is completely new. We got Unicorn Fountain right there with the great fairy, the blue fairy. The water texture looks very weird. Um, I mean, but it's like actually moving, but it's like, so Unicorn Fountain was like a 3D model. This looks like it's one of those pre-rendered ones, like pretty much all of Hyrule Market. They're just like pre-rendered textures on top of things. Um, so that's what it looks like. You can tell by the water. So it looks like it was like the 3D models, but then it's just like that pre-rendered uh background texture kind of thing. I love the fact that they added an ice rod. 'Cause if I remember, an ice rod was supposed to be there. There's this room which was in one of the trailers. Chris Cube, who was doing a restoration, had this room, but he had it like with the lava, the slugs. But this was how it was in the trailer with the slimes, and they're functioning the way they should. So, which is really really good. Stab the Stalfos in the ass. All right, this thing right here. Which one is it? Right there. Look familiar? That's look familiar. Now I don't know if they just did this from this, or it might be another. Maybe people have access to something that we don't know about. I'm guessing it's just this. You can see the it's all the same up there, except this one has more hearts. So this would have to be probably further on in the game then. Um, but yeah, look at that. Obviously, this we were seeing this right there inside. So we think it's like the Dongo's Cavern or something. Um, Dungeon to Dongo's Cavern. Here's more of what we were seeing. There's that one part right there. See if I can. No, there's a room. Yeah, you can see there's the staircase right there. We climb over and go to the other side. I mean, this is incredibly cool. Um, Here's this, and we see that little in a few seconds. Sorry, Link. Trying to get a good shot of that. Huh, look familiar? It's like one for one. So it kind of makes me wonder, has there been a leak that we haven't heard about, or do people have, you know, knowledge that we're not aware of? Um, I mean, everything looks the same from the texture to the ceilings to the pillars to everything looks the same. Maybe one reason why they're refusing to say who they are right now and choosing to remain anonymous. I'm pretty sure if someone had access to stuff like this, yeah, very cool pre-rendered. Yeah, that's what the I was talking about with the fairy fountain. It's like pre-rendered. This is basically a model, but then they slap this pre-rendered graphic type thing on the walls and around it. Like I said, if you go into like the files for Ocarina of Time for like Martha Market Town, everything that's just a texture. How like it looks all faded and kind of gritty compared to like the people. It's because it's not actually a model or part of the model. It's just a texture that they slapped on everything. Um. Also, where was it? AB reversed. Might be AB reversed. I recreated that just because I was bored. Where is the Temple of Time? There's a Temple of Time one. Yeah, as you can see, this was Unicorn Fountain was supposed to be a 3D model, but it looks like they just kind of pre-rendered it. Yeah, all this stuff pre-rendered. The model, it's like a model there, but all this is just texture. Um, all this same thing, just like slaps on there. This was we actually got to see this. This was the Temple of Time, and I kind of recreated these pictures as well. Um, but just this is another project. It's like the Wind Waker Unflooded. I hope this is a project that continues. And just the fact that all these areas look exactly the same as they were in the beta shots. I mean, might they have a source? Maybe. Are they just very good at recreating things from tiny, grainy pictures that you can find online? Possibly. But whoever the person is remaining anonymous. There's no website, no promotions, no, they probably won't reveal themselves until it's been put out and shared over so many freaking websites that it'll be impossible for Nintendo to do anything about it. Because quite frankly, these people don't make anything off of these mods. These are passion projects. They're mods that people are making with love because they have such a love for Zelda and Mario and all these other Nintendo IPs. Um, so recreating the beta experience, they're not benefiting from it. Nintendo could have easily done this themselves already. Again, they have all that stuff. I mean, I don't know if they still have it, but it was there in the vaults essentially at one point. And we know it still exists to some extent because we just had a bunch of beta stuff released last year from a freaking F-Zero cartridge. So we know there's plenty of this stuff still around. Um, so maybe someone bought a cartridge and the F-Zero cartridge had a bunch of beta stuff for Zelda. Maybe someone bought another cartridge and it had even more beta stuff and they're not releasing that yet or letting anyone know. But the fact that it is pretty much one for one, apart from um, here's what I really want to go with the desert. I've always wanted to see the beta desert, but you look at it and it's like look at the pillar, like down at the pillar right there. I was like a weird curved, and then you look it's like a one for one. So it's I hope this is one of those projects that actually see the light of day because Zelda fans love mods and being able to play the beta of Zelda 64, of Ocarina of Time, back when it was Zelda 64, would just so many mods have come out over the years and they failed or they just never got anywhere. Um and I would love to see this actually happen. Make the dream of however many Zelda fans. Because if you're old school Zelda fan like me, who grew up and you were around, Ocarina of Time, and you were seeing all these images, wondering, what it was like back then. Well, here's our chance to possibly experience what it would have been possibly like. So, whoever it is, keep going. Do not reveal yourself. Do not set up a website. Do not promote this in any kind of way. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Um, anyways, they're passion projects and they should be respected as such. The person's not making anything from it. Shouldn't be a big deal for Nintendo. Um, anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.